Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Bowls Breakdown with Matthew and Mike. And we always say we're delighted to have our guests on, but we are really delighted to have on today.
Well, someone is.
Oh, unfortunately, we haven't got our dog sitter, so we're going to be interrupted now and again. But today we've got Steve and Liv Jackson. I got your name right as well.
You did.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast, and thanks for coming on.
No problem.
I know you're both busy people. Yeah, bowling outdoors has started and it's in jest, so all good. We always start in the same place, and we're not going to change. A couple of people have said you need to do something different, but I think we like the routine of where we are.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
No. And we always start with, where did bowl start for you? So we're going to go to the older member of the family. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And we go to Steve. Steve, where did it all start? But going back all them years, how long have you been involved and where did it start?
I started bowling in 1978 at Llanbradach. I was 15. You had to be 16 in those days to legally bowl or bowling comps. But I wasn't exactly small, so I got away with it. So I started a year early. My father played. I had 3 or 4 uncles that played. So I sort of grew up at the club. Never really thought of playing because I was playing rugby. But then I sort of watched. I remember watching a game, a Carruthers quarter-final between Barry Athletic and the Brad.
Yeah.
And they were running up and down the green, shouting. They were not quite fighting, but they were getting close to it. There was a, and I thought, hello, I like this.
I like this.
Yeah. I like this. I can have a bit of this. And that sort of got my interest in it. And that was it really. Yeah. So it's 48 years.
48
man
years.
And boy.
So is it Dad was the influence for you?
Yeah. He started off. My dad was a good bowler, but he never really wanted to play anything other than second team bowls. He was quite happy there
With his friends.
With his friends, yeah, and it was not a social thing, but because they said he was a good player, but he preferred the sort of the social bit of it. But I got taken under. Got taken by a couple of guys there who were really good players. A guy called Ellis Stanbury, who people may have heard of. He was he captained Wales, won multiple singles competitions, and Ellis obviously saw something in me, and sort of took me under his wing and sort of started me off really and showed me the different aspects of the game.
Yeah.
There were a few guys there, and as always in these sort of valleys clubs, where everyone was lived within walking distance. It's not like now we got the super clubs.
Yeah.
Everyone lived within walking distance, and there were some very good bowlers. A lot of them didn't play for Wales because they couldn't get the time off work or couldn't afford to do it in those days. But they were very good, and I learned an awful lot of them, and I learned a lot quickly. You know, I remember one of the first games I played as a lead. I played with a guy who was 80 years old, but he'd been a Welsh international many years ago. Bowled the jack to what I thought was his feet, and he just stood there looking at me. And I said to the second, well, what's the matter? He said he's not happy. He said, you haven't got it to his feet. I was about that far short. So I learned very quickly how important the jack was.
I think in them
things
days,
like that. Yeah.
In them days, you had to listen because you couldn't talk.
Yes.
'Cause
No, that's right.
you weren't afforded time to talk.
Yeah.
So obviously, good memories.
Very good memories. Yeah.
Were you sort of the only youngster in around at that time, or was there other mates who joined you? Or
I was lucky that there was a mate of mine called Robert Treherne started at the same time. As it happened, our dads were friends as well, so we just sort of started together, and we were a bit of a novelty in those days as well, being the youngsters.
Yeah.
But yeah, because Robert years later got through and lost to Will Thomas in the Welsh singles final.
Okay.
And then a few years after that, I did the same thing and won it. So for 2 kids to come from the same club, and sort of get that far was
Llanbradach your home then? Was that
I was living born and bred there. Yeah,
Okay.
I moved to Cardiff in the mid-80s, but I still kept my membership.
Because we had a quick chat on the phone earlier on when I was telling you I got them dogs and be careful and one thing, and the other week we were in Llanbradach, and somebody said, look at this photo on the wall, and I said, I don't know who that is. And they said, it's Steve Jackson. I just couldn't believe it. Inside me and you, there's somebody else trying to get out. I know.
There's an athlete there somewhere.
See, they don't see us in our older days, in our younger days.
Yeah. We'll have to show them the picture of you after.
I will show them the picture of me after when I bowling when I was a youngster. So, as you said, obviously, you're 15, started bowling, started to enjoy it. Success, when did that sort of start coming for you, Steve?
I made my debut for the county, South Glamorgan County, in '82. So probably 4 or 5 years. It was quite quick. But again, I had a lot of advice coming through and people sort of supporting you. And back in those days, it was an achievement to get in the county side.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying it's less now, but there were some really good players around. And again, I spent a lot of time. I played over 100 games for South Glamorgan over the years, but I really enjoyed it and learnt from it as well. Every step you go up. So that was the real sort of first taste of success, if you like, the taste of the higher level, which I enjoyed. I suppose then going forward, I won a couple of open tournaments, the Penellan Open and a few others, which it was funny because it changed the way that people that I played rugby with, the guys I played rugby with, they said, "Oh, you play bowls? Yeah, that's great." Didn't know what it was, and then they found out that I'd won like 800 quid in one tournament. I said, "Okay, you can win money at this." And I said, "Well, yeah." Right, and then a few of them tried it out, so a few of them then played as well. So it sort of put a different light on it. It wasn't. Yeah. And then in '97, I was lucky enough to win the Welsh singles up in Landau, the outdoor singles, which opened up all sorts of avenues for me then, you know, international caps. And it's funny, I always maintained that I was told I was a good bowler up to that point, but then as soon as I won it, the perception is then, oh, you can be an international, and it just gives you the opportunities, and a lot of the time you just want the opportunity to show what you can do. Yeah, it's up to you then to
and certainly as we go through the podcast and we come on to your later career, we'll come back to that and where you sit in now on different committees and selections and stuff. So we'll come to that in a second. So caps for Wales, how many?
Probably about 25 in all. More indoor than outdoor.
Okay. In your days was I was going to say, did you have under 18s 25s?
No. Nearest we got was the Welsh Dragons under 35s team.
No, I played in that. I played for Pembrokeshire in the Welsh Dragons under 35. So I played for Pembrokeshire way back in them days, and that was a good achievement as well if you managed to get into them. So you missed out on those opportunities under 18s, under 25s, and then you went obviously senior cap straight in as a youngster at 19, which is not county at 19. When was your first cap then for Wales?
First cap would have been 98.
Okay.
Which would have made me 35.
Okay.
But it was over in Jersey as well, which was interesting. So it was one of the first time and the only time for a while that they played a series up there. It was end of June, and because they literally built the three greens.
Right.
It was almost like playing in April again. So you're just hurling things up, but it was enjoyable making my debut with John Price as well was something, you know. He's
back in our day, I suppose at that time John Price was the voice of
he was at the top of his game. Really was, and great to play with.
Yeah, you know, and you know, you mentioned a couple of Will Thomas. We've had I can't think of his name from Pristine. Rob. It was. I can't. I go into buffering mode. You know that. So when did the children come along? When was that? When did the children come along?
Very good.
I know that. I know that was sometime when the television broke down.
In between bowls, Chloe was the oldest. Came in 1994.
Okay.
Well done.
That's without saying her age.
Well done.
People are working it out.
Yeah,
so all right. 94, and this one came along in 2003. Okay. We had a long thought about it. You know, I wasn't sure about kids at all.
And you know, I do apologize. Dookie wants to come and say hello to Liv all the time because he's fallen in love, and I don't blame him.
You carry on. I'm okay.
So obviously the girls started playing bowls.
Not immediately. They sort of, you know, as is the way. I always took them where I went. I plonked them in a clubhouse where they sort of colour draw or whatever they do. Not really watch the bowls, but be there and enjoy the fact that people were buying them pop and crisps, especially this one. And then all of a sudden, Chloe said to me, "Can I have a go?" I said, "Yeah, I'd never make," and I never would with any. I always said that I'd never be pushing. One of these that said, "Right, I'm playing this, so you must do it."
Yeah.
And she started playing and really enjoyed it, and sort of. And because of that, I thought, well, I can't just teach you my bad habits. So I went on to get my coaching badge So at least I was teaching her the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And then she progressed into 25s and then into seniors. And then pretty much the same with you, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So we'll go over to Liv. How did it start for you in your memories?
I think it is just history repeating itself, isn't it? It's the same sort of thing. The only difference is our mum doesn't play bowls, so she's never had an interest. She doesn't care. So whenever we were at the green and whenever we were going to watch him, it was completely our decision. We were like, oh yeah, I want to talk to so and so. I want to see this. Want to see that. And then I think it was a lot less me seeing you, more me seeing Chloe. So she was 18, I was 9, and I was like, oh, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And
yeah, I would have thought that would have been a bigger influence for you, obviously seeing your older sibling and that kind of thing. Because obviously we have Adam and Kieran at our club, and it's a very similar thing. Like, you know, Adam looks up to Kieran quite a lot and follows in his footsteps a little bit.
Like with you playing, it was like I didn't know any different.
Yeah,
I almost didn't notice.
Yeah.
You know, we were saying in the car, I genuinely, up until 2 years ago, I did not know how good he was. I didn't know he had titles. I didn't know any of that really. Yeah. It was really bad. I didn't know he was captain, and I was like, oh.
The love of a daughter,
honestly.
I had a conversation with Richard Morgan, and Rich said, you know, your dad could play a bit, doesn't he? He's done this, and that. She went, no, I didn't.
He said British Isles. I was like, Steve. Okay. But yeah, it was Chloe, and it was, you know, it was just natural, and and you were right. You never made us feel like we had to be on the green or we had to go there. So I started just having roll-ups with you and going on with Chloe, and then I think she got a bit sick of me.
And how old were you then? Can you remember?
I was 9, wasn't I?
So
9
9
or 10. I was turning 10. And then I started coaching with Dan the Brad, with John Wheeler. And he was fab. He just made it fun. And I remember there was a few young people. I couldn't, at that point, I don't know whether they were coming from different clubs or whatever it was, but there were a couple of us, and it was just, we were doing games. I remember the target match on the green and stuff like that. And then it just kind of spiraled from there then, really.
Good. So, 9, started playing. When did success sort of start coming for you? How, because, and for people to understand why we've asked your dad and you on and not Chloe, is we obviously started doing the podcast, doing a bit of live streaming. We live streamed up in Desborough when you played, and I got your name wrong.
Oh yeah.
Did you? Yeah, well, so she tells me. Yeah, but we were so impressed actually, by the way you played that weekend that we said we had to get you on. Now, I had not disrespect your sister, but I've never seen your sister play.
No.
But we've seen you play, and know your dad played against him a couple of seasons back when you were in Cardiff, I think it was, Steve, wasn't it? Yeah. So we just said we got to get this young lady on. You were absolutely fantastic over that weekend. To be fair to you, so when did, after that 9 years of age? So that's why these two are on you, and Chloe's doing whatever she's doing.
Probably at home, probably thinking, oh my gosh, I hope they don't see anything bad on me.
Now's your chance. Now's your chance.
I think so. I was thinking about this, and I think I was quite late coming into sort of success or whatever you want to call it. I think I had a couple of years under 18s.
Yeah.
And that was fabulous. A bit more outdoors because it was 6 and 6 outdoors. So I did have a bit more of a chance. And then I just started, going to trials again, following Chloe around. She went to under 25. She was sort of, established a little bit. And then I got into the under 25s indoors when I was 14.
Right. Great achievement, that.
Yeah, it was fab. I went up to Nottingham. Then, what was it then? Then it was under 18 outdoor for a couple of years.
Okay.
Which was the best time ever. I think under 18s is my favourite.
Okay.
The memories and stuff. And then it just all spiraled quite quickly. Within a few years, it was then senior, junior, and under 18. It was just.
I think I'm going to say this. It's going to sound a bit terrible, but I'm gonna say them. But there's almost like a pattern a little bit with especially women's bowls in Wales. Is as soon as you get established in that under 18s and then to that under 25s level, it's almost just like that floodgate opens a little bit, you know. And I know we struggle a lot with probably high quality women in volume. We've got the players, but in that volume, so it almost seems like once you're in that under 18s, it's just almost like a guarantee at some point you're filtering 100%. Up that way. But it's nice to see obviously this year, back in the women's outdoor this year, which is brilliant. Under 25s women's trial team is quite big this year,
it was really
which is
good to see.
You know, and I know
well, that's down to you two, Mike.
A lot of them from obviously from the academy, we know, and we know that they've been invited in probably without the shot they're getting picked. That they know that themselves.
But it's being there and having their name out there.
But it, like we talked about it, you know, a couple of weeks ago, obviously, Steve, that you know you've got 8, 9, 10-year-olds now who've just started who look quite promising. That all of a sudden they go to a trial and they see what's expected of them. All of a sudden they know what they need to work towards. They'll have better information from higher quality players than what we could probably give them at the club, and then they move forward. You know, there's one young girl, Ruby Wilmot, and from the start of the season even till now, the progression she's made just confidence wise, and I think it all happened when she ended up doing an under 18s development day or a squad development day for the under 25s and below. And she had a couple of people come up to her and said, "Oh yeah, you just a little tweak here, a little tweak there," and they're watching her and telling her how nice her delivery. And all of a sudden, since then, she's just switched on.
Her confidence has just gone.
She wouldn't even line a jack up, but now she's lining up.
It's also seeing, I think, and you were the same, and probably Chloe as well. You realise that when you're playing in a club, I know you've got a lot of kids with the academy, but then when you see the same number of kids outside, you think, oh, okay, well, I'm not. Because you used to go into school and not tell them that you've been playing bowls. You didn't want them to know. But now there's a, and it's come back to your point, Matt, about if you make it in the under 18s, then you generally follow through. But that's because there's a genuine pathway in place now, which has never really been there before. Yeah. And the under 18s are being taught exactly the same as we're looking to teach the under 25s. Seniors are what they are. You can't really coach them. You can try and get a style of play established. But ultimately, they've been playing for so many years, and we're all saying that's the game we play. But the other two, you can actually mould the way that they play and get them to realise that there's a certain way of playing at international level at that early stage. Getting people like Ross and Amy involved, and it just makes them feel special, and they should be, because it's a big thing.
And obviously, we talk about obviously the coach, even for the senior level. You're not so much moulding them, but you're always tweaking and reminding them of what they're trying to do, and if something falls out of place, you're putting it back into place. And all of a sudden, if you start doing that for someone who's 9, even 8 up to 12, you said they can start getting that consistency.
Well, the lessons we learned from the senior series last year, we're now trying to put in place. In the importance of the different formats, and something like the 2-wood triple format. It's not like you don't have the traditional triples. You have somebody in the middle who can break it up if need be. Now you effectively need 2 leads up front to pepper the head. The skip just comes down and tie it up, and it's a different sort of tactic and different way of playing. The kids are great because they know how to play it. They've been playing it all their competitive lives, really.
Yeah, and I'd say we're quite lucky with the way that the split in terms of that ability. They're all high quality players, but then you've got in the 25s you've got people like Lauren, obviously a very established bowler for her age and stuff. You've got even like someone like Fionn Stevens coming through. He's still under 18s, but getting women's trials and even capped for women. And then you've got kind of that almost like that little tier list. They're all at some point going to all make it, but there's a tier, and they kind of almost going in one by one.
Well, this is what I said to you, wasn't it? For me anyway, I'm constantly looking at what's the next wave. We've got a group now of, especially with the boys and the girls, we've got sort of really good group of 15-year-olds who are going to be in that under 18s setup for the next 3 years. Yeah. What's coming behind them?
Yes.
And it's trying to get that, and that's where your kids come in.
Yeah.
Looking at that.
And like you said, if you can get those 15-year-olds now in when they're 18, top that level, and those 9, 10, 11-year-olds who are on the cusp or even just in and that kind of playing
chasing
at the moment.
Aren't they? And they've got people
but
to learn off.
Where the rest are at 15, you've always got that continuous flow of good players coming in then, and you're not really struggling then to rebuild every couple of years. It's just like you're building your next wave now for when that wave, today's wave, is moving on to,
and probably more so in the ladies' game as well.
Definitely.
For yourself, Liv, you played under 18s. Yeah, it's 14.
Yeah.
At some stage, them older girls moved on to 25s.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking, well, what have we got coming through? And maybe there was, and back then, there was limited numbers coming through.
This is exactly it. And I was, I always say this, I was sort of pushed to skip when I was 16, 17, because I didn't have my first under 25 outdoor cap till I was 18. I was like, in retrospect, I was very late coming into that. And I played 1 year lead-in, and then the next year I was skipping in Landod, and it was because we lost people like Sophie, we lost people like Jodie and Alice and all them at one stage, and we sort of went, oh, well, like, we don't have this next step
coming through.
Now we have, like you said, we've got this like step-by-step list of players who, some of them like Ellie Davis, for example. She was my lead in Des, but she was fabulous. Like, I honestly, I love her.
She's come on leaps and bounds.
I love her, but she, if we could just keep her and Nancy and people like that on the mat for as long as we can, by the time, not just we leave, but by the time you've got people like, Libby Harris and like Gwen, all them, that sort of middle age, 16-year-olds, whatever, they're skipping. Ellie's going to be outstanding. Nancy's going to be outstanding and ready.
And then you move up to the 25s. They take over. Yeah. We got another group coming through that are 8 and 9 and 10-year-olds. Yeah. You move to 25. They then start moving up. You move up to the ladies, which you've already done. But we need to keep that cycle going.
It's always a strange one when it comes to, I think, moving. If you play under 18s to under 25s to senior level, it's always a strange one because you seem to get pushed out of position a little bit early. Because at the end of the day, and this is where my big stickler with the whole stay on the mat as long as you can thing comes in. I'm like, well, that's true, and they should best they can. But when it comes to international level, you've only got a handful of players, and someone's going to have to play skip. Like, someone has to play skip. So, yes, okay, you got to try and find those people and advance them in that level. And then when they get to the senior level again, they're back. Like Elijah. Elijah's a prime example. He plays skip for under 18, skip under 25s, and he's back to lead in on the mat for the senior level. So it's almost like you get pushed out of position to go back to where you start a little bit before you then move. You almost like do two cycles of you start on the mat early at under 18s. By the time you're really good, you're probably skipping under 18s, and then you move to under 25s. You're either playing 3 or skip then at under 25s because the levels fairly close. It's still obviously a step up, but then as soon as you get the seniors, you're back to leading again, and then over years you work back again.
I don't think you would. Let's talk a little bit. I'm going to change thing a little bit because Steve, you were involved with the indoors, selection on the indoors. I don't know how many years ago. That's before I come back into bowls, and I think it was as I was coming back in, you were involved. How long you were involved in that indoor bowl set?
I was. Well, it started off as team manager for the girls under 25s.
Right. Okay.
That was 2018, something like that.
Yeah, closed last year.
And that was my first sort of dipping my toe in the water of team management, if you like. And I really enjoyed it, I must be honest. And it was clear then that they were a group, and I think I said to you, there's a group of girls here that you're all going to go together and you're going to move forward together. And there was Olivia, there was Lauren, there was Esty Parry, there was
Emily, Rebecca,
Jazz. So there's a group of 5 or 6 of them that now you can see they're all senior international players, but they've all come through together, and that's what you're going to find. And it's the same with Elijah and the boys from West End. They're all coming through together, and there's a group of girls. They push each other, and that's what you want. But then I sort of became director of bowls for the indoor for the men, which basically I was in charge of all teams, all age groups, sole selection. But I always made sure one of the first things I did was get people on board with me to support me. So I had Wyn Matthews helped me out with the under 25s, Mark Letman and Carl Mounty would help me with the under 18s, and I had Martin Selway as my assistant the seniors. So it was always a case of, yes, I ultimately was responsible for picking the team, but I worked with them, I worked with others, I spoke to people and had sort of asked, I think Kerry touched on this.
Yeah, you did,
when he came in.
And I got a point here, because actually I believe you, at that time you were quite successful, weren't you, as team-wise?
No.
Or not?
No, well, the team wasn't successful. We had some very good players. There was COVID, there was the break for COVID.
Okay.
And one of the things that I wanted to try was, it was to try and build a team. And I said to them, look, we're on a journey, and it's going to take 3-4 years maybe. Yeah. And we were targeting the Llanelli series, the home series, which was the next one. And I went out and I sort of, when I got the job, I went to all the established skips. So you had the likes of Jared, Ross, Dan Salmon, Dave Hardy. And I said, look, I don't want names, but what sort of player do you like, playing in the rink with you? What sort of second do you want? What sort of third do you like? And the answers surprised me, really, because there was some from, I want somebody that's really vocal and can break the head up, to somebody that I just want somebody that can draw all day long. And then I tried to build the team around that.
Okay.
So it was more, I probably put more thought into it than selection. People think it's just, right, you just pick names out of the hat, they play well on a day. For me, it wasn't about that. It's how you performed in previous games. It's how you perform in, week out. But it's trying to obviously get compatibility as well. Yeah. So that was one of the things I tried to do.
And I can understand that. Yeah. Compatibility in a rink is huge.
Because at the end of the day...
It can make or break.
It can create a better team.
Everyone will have a view on a team. Yeah. But at the end of the day, 85-90% of that team are there because they're the best players in Wales. Yeah. And probably everybody would do that. It's the fringe ones or the ones that you change that...
And it's also the pairings. I think most people can sometimes get tied into who's paired with who too much and think, why is he picked and then put there where he should. And it's like you said, it's not about who plays with who the most. It's who's going to bring the best out of each other at times. And that's what you've got to think about a little bit.
And that was the way I looked at it. And for example, Rhys Colwell made his debut in the first game. I put him lead in a rink with Carl Wood at second. Yeah. Now there's experience with Carl. And the skip with him was Steve Harris, so they knew... Yeah. And it's trying to get that sort of compatibility. Yeah. Then there's Jared Breen. Jared is a real thinker. I mean, he thinks about a game like nobody I've ever met before. He's thinking, in snooker they say, you're thinking 2 shots ahead. Jared is exactly like that. Yeah. Jared will play a bowl on the spot, get the second bowler play a bowl on the spot, knowing that he can hit it and get shot, because it'd be almost impossible to get to that spot. So he's thinking way ahead. So you want somebody with him is not on that level, but can actually play those shots for him, and then allow him to play his game.
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to watch Jared play a couple of times in the past, and the way that he, like I said, the way that he reads a game of bowls is just unbelievable.
He reminds me of Jason Greenslade. Now, I grew up with Jason, and Jason was exactly the same sort of player. Yeah, always thinking, always working. You've got a taste of playing with him.
Yeah, he would always say, like, what do they not want me to do? Yeah. Where do they not want me to be? And then I'm sort of stood there going, I haven't got a clue, don't know. But the more I was, I used to play in evening leagues with Jason, and like that, Cardiff has just been brilliant for that, playing with all these different types of players, with, like you said, all these different types of games and ways of thinking. You just pick up little bits of everything, and
and that's experience, isn't it? That's playing with people who have got that experience.
Yeah, but it's playing with multiple different people with different ways of thinking as well, and you piece together your own form of bowls, and you just play your better version of bowls.
So how did you rate your father as a team manager then, and girls under 25s then?
He's very good.
Very good.
Except from one argument we did have in Cardiff. But other than that, he was fabulous.
Difficult, though, isn't it? It's difficult for your dad to be a team manager. There's always going to be the accusations, she got in everything. But, we've seen you play, and I can understand why you were playing.
But I was okay with that, because I wasn't involved in selection.
Right, okay.
Because obviously team managers, they didn't have a say in selection.
No.
So do you think that's a good thing? Because I do. Do you need to be a really good bowler, ex-international, to be a team manager?
It's a difficult one, because everyone's different.
But I know.
I think it helps knowing what. For me, it helps know what the players are feeling, what pressure they're under, international bowls at any level is completely different to Saturday bowls. There's a lot more pressure on you. There's more people watching apart from anything else. There's people filming you now these days as well.
Yeah.
Which is great, by the way. I'm not having to go with that at all. But
No, and that's why we go, because I think people got to get used to that, ready for the big tournaments, because there's always going to be...
It is a pressure, and I think if you understand that pressure or have been through it, then I think it does help. It depends again on what your team manager role is. If you're purely if it's there to look after the players and help them during the games, etc. If it's about the admin side of it, that's a different thing. So I think there are two hats you've almost got to wear.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is the makeup of your actual team then, isn't it? Because obviously your team manager, and then you've got, 2-3 people on the side helping. I don't know how many they have.
Yeah, but let's just...
But
let's finish with... Go on.
Yeah, but this is the
Go
on. My golf coach, when I stopped with my golf coach and I went into golf coach, and he said, the only advice I'll give you to be a high quality coach is to keep your game going. Because people look at it and think, well, if you're good, they're going to look and listen to you better.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to bowls is an interesting one, because I think it massively helps if you've got someone like a Rob Wheeler or John Price being a team manager. Instant, you're locked, you're listening, you're gonna engage. But if you don't have someone like a player like that, but someone who is actually still looked up to, respected, who's established themselves as someone who understands the game rather than being the player or the accolade player, but someone really smart in the game, you're probably going to get a similar reaction out of it. But for me, it's about, like I said, it's earning the players' trust enough for them to listen and think. And if you're a player with a team manager without that top-esque, you've played for a while, you may not have the accolades to think, but you've got a group of people around you to call the shots on the green, then who are those, your Amy Williams, or, I know Jazz is obviously coming back in the 25s, or even like someone like Ross or Dan being there or whatever. You don't need to be such an established player then, because you just need to be there to realistically pull that team together, give them the philosophy you want, and understand that.
Yeah.
Well, I hadn't played. Sorry,
no,
I was going to say I agree with that, because I hadn't played international bowls since 2005 was the last time I played. But I played for Cardiff Indoors, which is you're playing with the internationals. You're playing in a top team week in, week out, where you're playing against all the guys and the youngsters coming up. I played for Penellan, Penhill, and then Penellan. Again, challenging for Carruthers, challenging for... So you're playing at the top level, at club level. And luckily, I felt lucky that I felt I had the respect of the players that I was managing, and that, for me, that was everything.
I think there's no doubt that you should have had the respect, because when people look into what your career is, when they meet you now, they don't understand. Like even your daughter didn't know what you did in the past. If they look at what you've done in the past, then you deserve to be where you are.
In life and in bowls, you can't go demanding respect. You can't expect.
No, it's earned.
Earn that.
It's earned. Yeah, of course it is.
You've got to earn
of course it is.
Yeah.
Did you find being in sort of as the sole manager with people around you, you could develop your own vision of how you wanted to play the game and how you wanted your players to play, bearing in mind how your skips might want to play and working with them as well? Because we've had the guys from the short mat on from Tavern Spite, and they've obviously been involved in Wales. They've just won the World Fours 2 years in a row. And they said that the most successful teams, England and Ireland, when they've been coming through...
No, they have one select.
They have one selector with one view, but he's the team manager, with one view of how the game wants to go.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to dwell too much on the indoor, because obviously you finished the indoor, and recently you've come back to outdoor.
Yeah.
What a team that is, isn't it? Because if you look at the names in that team, you, Chris Ashman, and Anne Winbutton,
MB,
yes.
Mom,
who I've got to say, and she'll hate me for saying this, is probably one of the best team managers I've ever seen operate. She knows exactly what she's doing, and
we've had that from.
I've done it for a while, and I've learned an awful lot from Anne, and that'll embarrass her.
And I'd even go as far as saying, and this is probably going to be a hot take, but I'd go as far as, if Wales ended up having the chance to pay someone to stay in to do the job, she should be the first one to be paid, and keep her as long as you can.
Well, I know
everyone, even Ross said it. Ross and Amy both said Anwen's the best.
I think people don't realise the amount of work that goes into being a team manager as well. It's not just rocking up for the trial days, picking a team, and then so it's all the other stuff that got. You're constantly, as you said, it's about getting a vision. How do you want? How are we looking at playing? And that's easy now. We've got the pathway.
Yeah.
But it's a. Oh, you used to do your head in. You know, how much time is people.
All the time.
So people don't realise how much time. I said, I'm just doing what I'm doing.
Oh, I do. I know how much time. Just running an academy was it was just.
Well, he's the same.
I was.
Just our academy.
If you're going to do something, do it properly.
Yeah.
So I've always said.
Every night of the
don't
week
mess about with it.
for the last 2 years, he's been doing something involved with the academy.
But that will you'll get the reward for that. You know, you've got that anyway, because I know we've spoken about it. But
I want to come back to you in a second, and this current now, because obviously you've come back into the outdoor and the big year this year going forward, and you've got clear plans, and I want to talk about some things wrong, but I do want to come back to Liv, because big year for you too, isn't it, this year? You know, you've got into the ladies team.
Yeah.
You've got your under 25s trial coming up.
Yes. Yeah. We get back.
So
and A. You up in A? No, that was last year.
What's that now? The seniors.
Seniors.
Yeah.
Well,
In A,
yeah, that's what I said. She's in the ladies up in A. Yeah.
Sorry,
So you're going to.
I don't know where I am.
You're going up to A. Pressure. Is this your? How many times have you played? How many?
You saw the smile on
I
her face.
know.
But she doesn't feel pressure.
I think you play better when you're under pressure. I think. So, is this your first full cap?
No, this is. So I played 3 years ago, when it was the format changed, but just for 1 year. So it was 2 teams of 12. I played in that one, and then obviously they cut it down again. Didn't quite make it. In Leamington, didn't quite make it last year, and then this was my main goal this year.
Yeah.
It was one of my main targets.
Yeah.
So I was really chuffed.
And position wise, where do you think you're going to end up position wise? Do you know already?
We don't know yet.
What are you fancying then? Because he's got no say on it anyway,
No,
so you can say what you want.
And he wouldn't tell me even.
No, I know he wouldn't.
Into his head,
Yeah.
But I've been leading all year, so I got to be fair to, like, I play in Penlan obviously with the women, and they've been really good, and they've let me go on the mat, even though they probably wouldn't like me on the mat. They'd like
you skipping.
Like me skipping.
Yeah.
They've been good as gold. And again, like, I've played lead indoors for the championship, and it brought me on so much. It brought my, I was back in my draw. I was like, my confidence grew from that as well. So I played lead twice in the triples in the trial, and then I went second in the rinks for the last game.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I don't really mind where I go.
You don't mind.
As long as I stay there, I'm happy.
So
to go
A
wherever.
is going to come up before the under 25 trial?
Yes. Yeah.
Because there's no doubt if you play it lead in the ladies seniors, you're not going to find yourself there in the under 25s here.
No, probably not. No,
So it's nice.
I think we both know where she'll be playing in the under 25.
I think we both know as well. But I was trying to
I
tease
can
it out
go
of her
lead.
rather than us saying.
Yeah, I'm happy to go lead. If anyone's watching.
Yeah. But so in some ways that's good, isn't it? Because you can concentrate now on all your practice.
Yeah.
When is A? What date is it?
25th
Of
June.
It's coming up that
coming
soon.
really quick.
Yeah.
Because the trial was a lot later, and obviously I think that did help me a lot, because I just.
I think it helped a lot of people
It
just
did,
kind of
yeah.
establish a bit better.
Yeah. I'm not
Wings are running a
naturally.
bit,
Yeah, I'm not naturally a heavy player, so.
Yeah.
Play a more natural game. Then.
Yeah.
So you're going to come back and go to the under 25 trial. You know that there's quite a big squad of young girls going to the under 25 trial. What advice would you give to them youngsters going up to this trial?
For all of the, like, especially the Bridgend girls, is just stick together. I think it's a very long journey, and because the pool is, even though it's getting bigger, it's still not half the size of England and Scotland.
Yeah.
So the girls that you go to trials with now are the girls that are going to be with you when you are 23, 24, 25. Like, look at, you know, being Lauren and Tegs and all them.
Mm-hmm.
Just enjoy it, take everything in, and it's easy for me to say, don't have pressure, don't think of it like that. Just keep thinking of it as a way to get better. You, again, learn little tips from people, and just enjoy the time you've got with the girls that are going to be with you for a long time.
I think that's what I always taught you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I said it to all the youngsters that we play when we coaching and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's a game. It's a game at the end of the day, and you play a game to enjoy it. And if you're enjoying something, you're going to do it well.
I think there's too many people these days that are, for whatever reason it may be, they put too much pressure on themselves, and you can tell when it matters most, they just seem to just fall apart is the correct way to say it, but obviously not intentionally, but you can just tell that the pressure just kind of builds and builds. They start doing small mistakes, and then they hit themselves harder for it, and they kind of hurt themselves.
There's a difference between pressure and competitiveness, and I think there's a very thin line between that. I think girls, I was terrible for it. 3 years ago,
We're terrible for it?
Yeah, fair enough.
Still
I'd be slapping my leg.
late night phone calls. And,
that's it. I'd be like, I can't play, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm slapping my leg. And young girls, not just young girls, I think anyone who is trying to get into any team, not just bowls, just in general, it's so easy to put the weight of the world on your shoulders, but they don't need to. It'll come when it comes.
The one thing that I learned through golf, and I've had to reapply it a little bit when I started bowls, but did it again. But no one goes onto that green to lose a game.
No.
Unless it's someone who's just playing for the social side, and there's nothing riding on it. It's a bit of social fun. You just go and do your best or whatever. It's fine. But when you play in matches and stuff, I believe this is true. Anyone who plays matches at a competitive level, no matter how high or low the standard may be, never goes onto that rink to lose a game.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you do that, you are instantly already being competitive.
Yeah.
So you don't have to spend the whole of the game, like you said, pouting about, stropping on a bad shot, cussing yourself out, anything like that. Just laugh it off.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned to do. You play a bad bowl, you just say, well, okay, I played a bad bowl, but how can I use that and make it a positive? And then just kind of forget it.
And it's not only that, it's you can't change what's gone.
No.
You can influence the future, but you can't change what's gone. And I've said that to you.
Yeah.
You and Chloe were probably the best prepared that you could have been when you actually stepped on the green for your first international game. Yeah. Not taking it, but I just said, look, it'll be like this. You'll feel it because I'd been through it, and it was. Yeah. You still got to experience it. Yeah. But and
as
I
you
think
get older, you learn. When Mark Letman said to me, he was like, "You've got 21 little games.
Yeah.
Don't think of it. If it's gone, it's gone. You can't. I can't take that bowl back. I can't get that shot back. But I can dictate how the next one goes, and I can dictate not panicking or not, falling apart.
My golf coach told me when I was about 19 or 20, and he goes, when you've hit your golf shot, no matter what happens, at that moment in time, that is the best you could have done. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, did you prepare properly? Did you go through your routine? Did you pick your shots? Did you analyse? Did you all this? I said, yes. Okay, that was the best shot you could produce at the time. So why are you worried about it? You did everything you needed to do, but it didn't quite come off the way you wanted. It has nothing to do with you being bad. That's just one of those things. Yeah. And I always tell the kids, especially when I teach them, and I see it a lot with youngsters who are quite influenced with, like you said, with the people who are decent bowlers but have that kind of negative mentality. If they play a bad bowl, they try fixing it. And I tell them, well, think about it logically, right? You've tried to play a bowl. Okay, you haven't played that bowl. Why are you trying to fix your bad bowl instead of stepping on the mat and playing the same bowl you tried to play in the first place? And it's like you see it then, and they start to click in it, and they realise then a minute change is so difficult to do in the moment, especially when you're kicking yourself. Yeah. So just go up, forget your, and just try and bowl the same wood every time. Yeah, whether you do it or not doesn't matter, because you're still putting a better environment for your pre-shot routine, your delivery, everything by doing the same thing rather than, I was too tight, let's go wide. I was too wide, let's go tight. I was too short, let's hat. You know what I mean? Like it's just too much then.
Yeah.
So I got a bit of feedback for you.
feedback.
Yeah.
Was that me?
Yeah,
Oh, gosh.
yeah, I got a bit of feedback for you and for some of the senior under 25s. Because a few of our girls from Regen, they went up to the under 25 trials. Under 25 singles.
Yes, yeah.
And you played one of them?
I did. Annabelle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
young Annabelle.
Yeah. She was
And-
with me in the county trial as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. And you're inspiring people at your age now. Don't forget that. Chloe Thomas.
Like out the door.
No, young Chloe Thomas.
Yeah.
Chloe
yeah.
played our very young Charlie, who was only 9.
Yeah.
Chloe
Yeah.
and Charlie. Yeah.
Charlie, I think Charlie lost 21-2.
Yeah.
But her objective was to get 1 point.
Well, she was really upset when she come off.
Yeah.
And we told, and then we told her. Then she's like, "You literally brand new to bowls. Like she's struggling to get up on a heavy green. She was. I said, think of it this way, Joe. You took 2 shots off Welsh international level
Yeah.
player.
And the way both of you were, and another of the girls who are in that bracket of the older girls in the under 25s.
Yeah, 'cause there's a few of them.
I got to say to you, and if the other girls are listening, keep inspiring them youngsters. So when you go to the trials, keep doing what that, and have that couple of minutes for them youngsters, because you are inspiring the next generation coming through. There were people who inspired you.
Yeah.
You looked up to. There were people when I bowled, me and your father looked up to.
Yeah.
John Prices of the world, or whoever it was. Yeah? Keep doing what you're doing, because the feedback the girls were saying was that it was lovely. They felt that they go up there, they enjoyed. Now, if me and you played and we lost 21-2, would we enjoy it? Probably not.
Well, it would depend on who I played.
But they enjoyed it because of the way you were with them.
Well, they don't feel out of place, then, do they?
No.
It's
that's
like,
it.
you know, they and this is what we try and get, especially the youngsters in it. I know Faith ended up playing Meg, and Meg's like, I had to work for it because Faith was brilliant, and obviously Annabelle had to play you know, a lot of our girls had to play outside of people they didn't know.
Yeah.
And that can be daunting for your first major competition, you know, playing against someone you think, I don't know who this person is, they're really good, why am I here?
Yeah.
And you feel like
I
almost
think,
like...
though, it does you good to not know who you're playing.
Yeah.
I think that was like, you sort of, you look at a name and you think, oh, I haven't got a clue.
Yeah.
And if you know you're the underdog, so you just do it and you just carry on. Like.
And we know sometimes losing, you can learn far more from losing than you can from winning.
I'll tell anyone, you learn a hell of a lot more from losing than you do from winning.
So I wanted to pass that back to you, because I know from speaking to parents and speaking to girls that you helped them relax and enjoy that experience, yeah? And that was a daunting before they went up there, that was a huge daunting experience.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been the young girl, you know,
New player
coming into
coming
this
in.
and you know, nobody know, or you know, with me I was like, oh, that's Steve's daughter, and that's da-da-da. And then, you know, it's sort of intimidating, and you're still finding your own footing without thinking about what the person against you is doing.
You said something to me years ago when I was with the under 25s girls. She said, you treat us like bowlers, not like kids.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, that's what I never thought about doing it, but they were bowlers. I didn't care that they were, they were 16, 17, 18. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
With the low experience, they were bowlers, and they were trying to get the best out of them and give them the best that I could.
Yeah.
And you said that was the difference.
Yeah.
You know, we're being treated like kids.
Yeah.
We're being treated like an equal, and that's what you.
That's it.
I think, and that's a big part of it, especially for, you know, a couple of them, because obviously, you know, we've been lucky enough to coach the same group now for a couple of years, and there's a handful of them that you think, not right now, but in the next 2-3 years down, there's a hell of a lot of potential. And it's not even the fact that they're considering like bowling at that high level. It's just, you can just see the mannerism in which they do it, and how serious they take it, and how much they take in.
But that's why I was saying to Annabelle, because there was so many times we were talking all through the game where she was playing the right way, just, you know, dip the line or just a bit tight, whatever. But as we're walking down and going, but you played it, you know, you had the right pace, or you thought about this, and you saw the lines and stuff. And at one point she said to me, like, she was following the line of my bowls. Yeah. Now, obviously, I don't know what bowls she plays with.
She's Drake Pride Professionals.
So they're probably, I'm not very good with
Drake Pride.
but they're probably a bit similar to mine.
Mid-bias,
so I was like, well, you are thinking about stuff like that, you know. I was never thinking about that at 11. I just closed my eyes and looked for the best.
So what would you how much practice are you doing now ready for obviously Ayr and the under 25s? Give them youngsters an idea of how much practice you working full time. Yeah, you work full time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how much practice you putting in?
So I.
Be careful of the fathers listening.
I know. Like loads. So at the minute it's mostly games. It is mostly. So I've played since last Thursday. Sunday was the only day off. Minus today as well. But I know that I've got a list in my house of like the games I'm playing, and then I'll fill in the blanks with a half an hour practice. And I do try and keep, if I'm going up for practice on my own, I will keep it to half an hour, because I do get, like, I drift away or I stop constantly.
And that half an hour, what sort of things are you doing in that half an hour? Are you just constantly just bowling or doing some drills of some sort?
I'll do a couple of drills.
Okay.
That's the one thing I drilled into.
Jack throwing, many of you, and all them youngsters should be jack throwing. Jack throwing.
Jack throwing the last 4 or 5 times. It's been a league.
Did you say you could coach as well? Because Ken Taylor needs a little. Deb's husband needs a little bit of. Can't throw a jack. Okay, so is it fair to say you're out of 7 days you're bowling at least 5 days?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And that you're happy to do it, because you know that. I know that when I get to Ayr, I will be able to look at myself and go, I could not, there's no more time.
But I would say then you've got to balance that, because the week before Ayr, you actually want to be ramping down a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to get to the series, and not just you, anybody. You know, we play so much because it's county comps. You were saying earlier, Matt, that you play in virtually all the time.
Right now, you're 7 days.
When you start playing, you've got to. So I would say the week before, middle of next week, if you're not playing, take a day off.
Yeah.
Just don't pick up a bowl for a day, but because you need to go into that series fresh.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my advice to anybody. You can. We want to do so well that we want to play as much as we can, but that's not always the secret.
No.
You know, it's
like I'm not playing today, not playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I think, you're right. You've got to be smart with yourself, and you've got to be a little bit vigorous.
Well, there's a big thing of you know, and I'm lucky with my golf background. You know, golf took up when I was out in the States. I was probably practicing 6 to 8 hours every day. Obviously a little bit different than bowls, because you've got so much more to practice with golf, and then you go on the course and that's another 2 hours on top, whatever. But I was right, like when you go through that consistent working thing, I was lucky because the way that the college system works in America, you basically get every treatment you can get for recovery. So I was lucky that I could overdo it a little bit. I we could go to the trainer at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, get ice baths, get treatment and rehab treatments and stuff. So if I had a twinge or something wrong, I could just go and get it fixed. But you know, when you've playing a sport like bowls, you don't have that luxury. No. You've got to be a bit smart. You can't overdo it. And okay, yes, it's not as demanding on the joints and stuff, but it's still a lot of hard work to play bowls.
But there's a fear as well with a lot of players. You're an example. I don't want to go at all, but you're almost afraid not to play, not to practice. You're almost afraid that, well, if I do this, I'll forget how to do it.
Yeah.
The reality is you've got to have that break. You've got to have a day off or 2 days off. It doesn't really matter. And then you're not going to forget about
all light practice. Something a lot lighter, you know, something different.
And I think that's where
like,
the half an hour comes into it, is just knowing I can turn around and say, well, I haven't exerted myself. I haven't gone crazy, because I can hear your voice in my head and going, don't be silly, because I make sure I go to the physio before I go away with my hip. But it's all preparation, and it's like you said, it's knowing that you've done it and knowing
I was the same out when in the winter time, when it was snowing all the time, we'd only have an indoor hitting net and a putting green. So anytime we were in and I switched off as well, because it's the same thing. You don't have that variety. There's no kind of thing then. So what I used to do is I used to do 25 minutes or 20 minutes of a drill, and then I'd do 10-15 minutes watching YouTube. And then I'd switch up a drill or tweak it a little bit, make it different, do another 20-25 minutes, and then go watch another 15-minute YouTube bit. And just break it up in a way that, because I used to do, like, I was studying as well, like I couldn't study for hell, so I had to break it up, like do 15 on and off. But there's ways you can do it, but and especially for people who are maybe playing second or don't do it, something like jack throwing, right? Can you imagine someone who doesn't practice jack throwing because they don't lead or didn't think about practicing? I know, but this
I rest my case.
Yes, I practice my jack throwing.
Do you see what it's like?
I practice my jack throwing, but
This
the
is
youngsters won't, because they're gonna just want to bowl and bowl and bowl. Like, so if you wanted to say, well, under 18s or someone like that goes in, all of a sudden has that, 6 days a week practicing, and then has to ramp it down, maybe just go, well, I'll just do 20 minutes of jack throwing instead.
But how do you know you're never going to play lead?
Well, that's true.
It's one of those. It's a skill in itself. Yeah. It is a skill, and I say when I was a youngster, I used to go out and take 6 jacks from the box. I'd be on the green on my own, and they'd look at you in the bar.
I think everyone should know how to throw a jack.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh,
but it's you look at the basics, right? The basics in terms of bowls. If you know how to throw a jack, you're not far off being able to throw a bowl.
Because it's different to bowling a bowl.
Yeah.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to confuse you now. No.
Well,
it is. It's you're bowling the jack straight down the middle.
Oh yeah, no, I don't mean
No, because you're not having your body angles and all that. You
the big thing I learned.
I was on about the mechanics.
The big thing I learned with throwing jacks is
let somebody else do it.
No, I'm good at throwing jacks. I'm gonna stand on my grave and have best jack thrower on it. But the one thing I learned, and I adjusted from my jack throwing to my actual bowling, is my grip pressure. Because I always used to, when I first started, I was way too tight on my grip pressure for my bowl, and it was always coming out a bit iffy, and I never figured it out. But when I started indoor, I never let. I was 2, so and again, you can't go to indoor practice in Patal, but it's just busy all the time just to throw jacks and stuff. So I never did that. I just went to go practice, try and tweak that way. When I got into outdoor and started throwing a jack, instantly I was like, well, okay, I'm really light on it, and it felt nice to throw a jack. And then I was like, well, look, okay, I'll try the same thing with the bowls, and instantly just made a difference. And there's small little things you can take, like you said, from different things, right? So just simply throwing a jack, right? You can take small little feelings from that. If you're feeling good, you can apply it to your bowls and move on that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to change it up a bit. I'm going to go back to Steve. So you come back now. You're back on the fold in the Welsh setup with Anwyn Button at the lead and Chris.
Yeah.
And Jamie Brown. Jamie Brown's just come on board as a new academy. I do apologise. These dogs are a pain. But he's knocking the door. He wants to come in. You haven't seen Liv for a while now. Jamie Brown, new academy manager. Everything I've seen,
ideal man for the job.
He's doing a great job. He's starting to galvanise people. Definitely. There's big squads there. He's got different ideas. He's bringing people, other experienced bowlers into coaching to give something different. Pathway itself, obviously, as I said, you're new back in, but I think have you got a clear pathway now? You think that's going to carry on?
I think so. I mean, it was as these things are. They Anwyn and Chris published a document when they took up their positions, took up their roles, and the pathway was set out in that. And so again, it's club, county. It's a little bit different for the under 18s because you sort of come in just when you develop. If you're spotted, you're invited along, and probably to a lesser extent the same with the under 25s. But the under 25s come through the counties as well now, and then it's on that pathway from under 18s, 25s to seniors. The whole idea of the pathway, obviously there's other ways into it, but the whole idea of having a pathway is that you, like the stuff that Jamie is doing with the academy in terms of the drills and all that, they'll be replicated with the under 25s, because last year it was only an under 18s academy. This year we've extended it to the under 25s as well. Yeah. Because, well, why wouldn't they be part of it?
I don't know.
You know, it's
because if that comes under county, then the under 25 county is where it sits. Correct. Then, doesn't it? You know, I don't know whether obviously with the ladies there, because I know within the Vale, the Vale under 25s would play girls as well. Did you play? You played? Yeah, of course you did. I was there. We talked to you, didn't I? Yeah. So with them girls playing as well, it's ideal, isn't it?
Well, they've officially made the Super Nines and the double rink. A mixed one though, so that, which is logical.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, and you've got the best players playing in it, playing against the best players.
No, because bowls is one of those sports that you can realistically put men against women, and it's a coin flip who wins.
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's no physical attributes.
No.
There's no, you'll have a slight difference in play style and how they can play shots, but you look at some of the best, especially those under 25 and down level, you look at some of the best under 25 players, it's a mix of men and women. You're not going to put 10 men in front of any woman. Like, you're going to put, Lauren Gowan's got to be up there, one or two
Amy,
for some of the best under 25 players.
I don't want to go off track, because what I'm trying to get to is it's not a concern, it's my wish. If I could pass anything on to Welsh lawn bowlers, is what you just said as well. You said it about 10 minutes or so ago. In a year's time, we're going to be losing Anwen Button, because she comes to a 10-year of that. And I know 10 years are in for a good thing, but that would be a huge loss from what we're hearing for Welsh bowls. So I hope that doesn't happen. Is one thing. I'm not going to ask you to comment on it, because I think that would be unfair to ask you to comment on it. But I hope the Welsh lawn bowlers consider that 10-year, and they think, if everybody and the top players and people like yourself, Steve, are saying you're learning from her, she's the best you've seen, why wouldn't we keep her, or try to keep her in some way? And I don't want you to comment on it, because that wouldn't be fair. But I wanted to get that out in the open, because I think that is a big key to how we develop and going forward. We're starting to get some momentum. Yeah, we're starting to get some clear pathway. And Ireland has gone through this. Ireland's gone through this with indoor and outdoor. That's the other next thing I suppose I was going on to, is indoor and outdoor. We're a small nation. We got the same players playing indoor, more or less. We got the same players playing outdoor. Again, I know it's difficult for you to comment on it, but at some stage we've got to try and work together, haven't we?
Well, England have just announced that they've come to an agreement on doing just that.
I think their name out.
Yeah.
Have they?
Yeah. They announced the name of the new amalgamated outdoor indoor.
I missed that.
It's not really earth shattering.
2 weeks ago.
What's the name?
I didn't read it. I just saw it.
It's England Bowls or something like that.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, Bowls England.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, it's a different model they've got. They've got funding that we can only dream of.
Yeah.
And they've got professional managers into the key roles. The chief executive. We are relying on volunteers and elected people. And people give up their time.
And I don't want to go into a big depth on it, but I just don't know, if we were to come together, would that make the funding opportunities better, a better look for businesses?
I'm not sure what difference it would make, because the funding comes through Bowls Wales, from Sport Wales, through Bowls Wales, and is distributed then amongst the 5 NGBs, the governing bodies. So you short mat, crown, indoor, outdoor. What's the other one? Anyway.
Okay.
Or maybe the disability.
Right.
Or I think they're funded separately. Either way, so it's one pot that comes from Sport Wales, and then the associations bid in for that. So if you're looking at it that way, you could pool the money, I suppose. So funding wouldn't be necessarily any easier to get, but it may be easier to manage it. As you said, the players that we've got, probably both, the majority of them will play indoor and outdoor.
Yeah.
The other big thing would probably be eye candy for big corporations.
That's the other thing, and that's where we're lacking, is just any form of sponsorship. Because it's difficult, because we've got nothing really to give back.
Yeah.
England, again, because they've got TV coverage, and they got streaming coverage of their national finals, where you've got Aviva blasted all over the place.
Yeah, but I mean, as much as you're right. I think it's very hard to give back. But if we continue to keep working on, like I said, exposure stuff I think there's a small chance that we could give
because there are some big Welsh companies out there that I'm sure would be willing to.
Well, you look at, like, my big thing is you look at the ability to get it televised.
Yeah.
You know, someone like, for Wales, you're lucky you've got something like S4C, which is a strictly Welsh-based TV news, which would rival if, say, ITV stepped in to start doing bowling
with subtitles. That'd be interesting. Oh, you'd be all right.
Yeah.
We'd have to be subtitled, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm speaking quite big there, but you know, and I think the big thing for us is you look at even Scotland now, obviously with is it Tensolite that do Scotland's indoor? Obviously Aviva do England's outdoor. They do it all through Bowls England. There's a way you can do it. I think the big question is putting it out. Someone's got to do it. Yeah. Like I said, there's got to start off as a volunteers thing before it makes any sort of sense to start then investing in the future of it.
I think as well, it's got to be is to make it clear that any funding that comes as sponsor, it can't just be for the elite level.
No.
For internationals, it's got to be looking at the grassroots level as well and supporting that. And maybe that's where an amalgamated indoor and outdoor association, again, just thinking off the top of my head, would have that one body to be able to manage that funding to the grassroots, whether it's to help and support indoor stadiums or outdoor clubs.
Yeah, you'd be able to start then, obviously, creating an actual kind of thing for your grassroots. You look at we always bring up the Australian school stuff.
Yeah,
like they had something like 2,000 school kids playing in a schools championship. Could you imagine having, like I said, if we did up having a sponsorship like that could fund a major schools competition at a club?
Well, Welsh Education. I've approached 3 schools in Bridgend. Welsh Education now put bowls as part of the GCSE curriculum. But I don't know, do we know of any schools, comprehensive schools, that are actually taking that up?
Well, none of them take it up because they just won't have the facility to.
But there will be students out there who are looking to do another sport because they need to get 3 sports.
The same thing that happened with me in golf. It's not enough people for it to warrant the equipment.
And
we end up having this argument on it.
I can imagine.
I know.
But I think, again, if you look at England, the English model, they've got regional structures as well. So they've got, for example, even from international level, they have selectors at a regional level to filter through, and then they go up to the. But even then below that, in terms of the grassroots, they've got development officers. They've got people that are going to schools, and I think we've got maybe one with Bowls Wales. I may be wrong on it, but we certainly haven't got a group of people that are going out to the schools.
Yeah.
And saying, this is
well, it's all club done. The people who are going to the schools are all just down to someone in the club.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not to do with international, but that's just to do for their club. To try and get numbers for their club. That's all they're doing it for.
And you need to get something that's more structured. I think how we do that, I don't know. But it's but the only thing as I say, that may be something that's easier to do with an amalgamated indoor and outdoor because you've got one body then.
I think we just need to say, give us the golf funding because they don't need it. They're bloody useless.
Okay. So we talked about a big year for you. Ladies, under 25s, can't get in the under 18s now because you're too old for that. Yeah,
just a couple of years old.
But it's a huge year for your father as well now, isn't it? With the Commonwealth Games, being involved with Welsh Lawn Bowls, obviously being involved with the Commonwealth Games selection, nomination, I should say. Have they been ratified yet?
Not yet. We haven't heard officially yet.
Okay, so they're still nominated, still waiting for
15th of June, something like that. Okay, that's when the whole, because they're doing a whole team, so it's not just bowls, it'll be everybody. So.
How's it been, Steve? How's this journey been this year? Have you done this before with the Commonwealth Games?
No. I was an assistant to Dave Harding when he was team manager for the Atlantic Rim, where we were preparing for all that, but the teams had already been picked. But this has been a whole different level for me because I remember talking to Rob Wheel a few years ago about because it's not only a case of us selecting the players, you have to provide evidence. I mean, a shed load of evidence on what they've achieved, their status in the world rankings, what potential are they to A, finish top 6, B, medal. And there's a whole lot of stuff that you've got to do in terms of research. And luckily, I've got a bit of time on my hands. We're retired, so I said to Chris, "Look, I don't mind doing all that. I'll do the research." And so we had to collate all that and put it into Sport Wales and the Commonwealth Games Wales to justify effectively why we picked the 2 that we picked. And Anwen, again, the same with the girls. So in days gone by, it may have been just a case of, right, these are all 5 players, nobody will challenge it, and we'll just put them in. Not saying that they shouldn't have been there, but there wasn't half the amount of work or anywhere near the amount of work.
Well, the easiest thing with Ross winning the inaugural World Cup and Dan already winning a gold at the Commonwealth helps a little bit with that research.
I think the other thing as well, the other consideration, which is unique with this one, is that it's been played on an indoor surface.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, certainly the men, I think our best, among the best of our best players, are our top players indoor and outdoor. Yeah. So it really, their record stands alone really, and it was just a case of, we had a short list of 6, and it was just a case really of trying to finalise that, see them in play, see them in action, watching, and then go what we felt was the best option.
How difficult was it to go for 2 and not go for 3?
It was difficult. It was difficult. You've got Ross, who's, I think he's number 5 in the world now, but he was as high as number 3 at the time, and he's refound his love for singles. I remember talking to him, and he said he'd sort of got away from singles. He'd lost a lot of tight games, but he said he's sort of found that, and you see the singles titles he's won over the last couple of years. So I think he was nailed on in terms of the singles rep, because of just his record and the way he's performing now. And I think if you look at the test series or the test matches that they're having against England now, he's playing Sam Tolchard, and they're alternating a bit because they've only got the 2, but Sam doesn't seem to. So he's got this, and I mean he's another thinker, Ross, and he'll work out how to play the 7-set format. It's the shot clock is on, which is different. He's worked all that out, and even to the point where I was timing him on one game just to make absolutely sure. He bowls in about 6 seconds, so 30 seconds.
7 seconds dead on.
But it was still something he wanted to check, or some other one he can tick up.
From the time he picks up his bowl to release, is nearly down on 7 seconds. I've timed it over loads of shots, and it's not done.
We were lucky enough to go and obviously live stream the Newport test series, and you talk about the singles and stuff, and we watched a lot of the matches or whatever, but and you got a chance to watch a couple of them here and there. But with Ross, the interesting part that I find with Ross, especially playing against people like Sam Tolchard and Jamie Walker, who are very aggressive bowlers in their own right. They play with no fear whatsoever. They're not afraid to pull the trigger, even with 1 wood left. He like I said, the thinking side of him plays against them. So like I tend to sometimes, especially in rinks, when I'm not against people who don't think like that, or don't, like I said, plot and kind of almost like a chess mind, struggle to play against those heavy players at times, because you're never really putting ones in the right positions. But Ross just seems to just know how to play against it.
I'll tell you something which I'm not giving anything away tactically anyway, but we were talking about the tiebreak ends, how you play them, what's the best way to play them, and he at one of the games he got into a tiebreak with Sam. His first bowl, a short 3/4 length jack. He puts his first ball on the 2-yard spot. The markers go in. What? He's about 10 yards away from the jack. And Sam looked at him and just started laughing because he knew exactly what he was doing. But he got the spot covered first. Now you can play the rest of the end. He drew, and Sam was trying to cover it and couldn't. And Ross's last ball, he put the white in the ditch. And if that's how he thought about it. No, I'd never seen a tiebreak game played like that before. But he got his first ball on the spot, and it gives him a chance.
That's thinking game, innit? That's thinking about the game.
It's also the confidence to play.
Knowing you can hit it with your last ball.
When I first started watching the BPL, and I'm bringing that because the BPL, when they play the trial ends or the tiebreaker end, where all 3 of them come on, the leads try and ditch the jack right off the get-go. Like, they're not afraid that, like, and I know it sounds crazy, but they're also playing at a high standard. Like, they're still trying to win, but they're up there trying to ditch a jack. They'll play short and they'll try and ditch a jack, drive it in the ditch, kill it straight off the first wood, like, and it's almost a kind of a similar concept to it. Is you're playing for just to kill it straight off the get go, because like you said, if Sam puts one on the jack, it doesn't matter. because Ross then can hit 3 at him, and he just needs to hit the one, and he's probably picking up shot anyway. So it's almost like you're getting your opponent like, well, there's
I want to move on because we've spoken about Ross a lot, and but all Dan is there.
Sorry, Dan, the other going back to, to that. So Dan, I mean, apart from still playing brilliant bowls, you know, he's leading with just it's so consistent.
I know this
but
is
once
going to
you deny somebody,
no,
they'd have to be playing at the level. And it's very difficult to deny somebody an opportunity to go for your 3rd straight gold medal.
No, you're right.
When you are playing to the required standard.
The difficult one would have been if Jared was still playing. Because fair play to Jared, I'd take my hat off to that man. He said, I'm not playing enough, I wouldn't do it justice, and I'm not going to do that. Yeah. If he was, now that would have been a selection and a bit, wouldn't it? Yeah, would you have put Dan and Jared back in because they had to go last time in the pace, and then you got Ross in the singles. It's hypothetical.
Hypothetical, that's the beauty of selection.
It is, isn't it?
You know,
and you don't have to answer that because it's not, you know, it is hypothetical.
You know, and the big thing for obviously the Commonwealth and you know, we talk about the men a lot and stuff, but you know, you look at the women's side as well now, and that's still a very good, strong. You know, and obviously we talk about it. You know, Ross and Dan probably top Welsh bowls indoor and out. Now obviously Amy was quite late to outdoor bowls, so probably not as established as an outdoor bowler as she is as an indoor bowler. Lauren is good in both. We know how good Lauren is, but young. You know, what would be her first Commonwealth for both.
How old is she? How old is
she's 23. She's the same age as me.
Yeah.
I think I'm on the 15th. She's on the 21st. I think.
But Lauren's been around for
very similar.
You know, for donkey's years. You know,
I think
she's been in Potter. She's been to Pot, all that stuff. But you know, it's an Amy. Like I know we think, oh well, Amy.
She's young as well, isn't she?
She's still
but I think this is where Anwen will become invaluable to the girls because neither of them have experience of playing in a world tournament or a world level tournament. Well, they played in Malaysia, but it's different, and I know the guys are helping as well because again Ross and Dan have a whole load of experience.
They've got.
And that's the big thing, but I think that's where Anwen being there will help. Will help them, and she knows that. And I think it's.
And I think the big thing with Amy, and you look at the last couple of events she's been taken to for Wales. Obviously, she went to the World Cup. She went to was it Australia Cup last month before?
Yeah, for the World Championships, wasn't it?
World Indoor Championship. Yeah. And the amount of tie-break ends, they said that haven't quite gone away, even though she's been playing some high standard bowls. Like obviously someone like Anwen is always going to be there, and Amy's I would assume Amy's never going to get flustered by it too much. She's probably going to affect it a little bit, but you know what Amy's like, she's going to get right back into it. But you know, obviously having someone like Anwen there to support you and get you through that little bit of self-doubt that might be creeping
in. And that's where the team manager, and going back to your original earlier question where you said about do you need to have international experience in that circumstances, and those circumstances you do. Yeah. It's got to help. And
you've got to have somebody on the side with that experience.
Some of the guys having Roberts in Birmingham, and I know when Dan and Mark Wyatt won the gold, you had Dave Harding there as well. So you know you're talking about 3 team managers there who've been there, done it, and have got a vast experience, but know when to stand back and when to offer. Yeah. Not to put any pressure on, because it's so easy to remember to do this, and you can't do that because that'll just
at some point you just got to let them play.
Exactly.
I'm gonna give a shout out to the 2 reserves as well, because they've really stepped up the plate. They've committed to helping out with all the series indoors that they have. So Sarah and Carl, you know,
and Ryan Mount Stephen as well.
He stepped up. He was phenomenal.
No time indoors.
He was phenomenal. You know, and do you know what that proved to me? We have got a lot of strength there.
We have.
We've just got to keep going and
I mean,
keep going.
The 3 guys that didn't make the final cut, you know, we've got quality players with Danny Davis Jr., Carl Wood, and with Owen Dando.
Yeah.
You know, it was. You know, there was a lot of discussion went on. It was marginal decisions in the end because they're all in their own way offer something different.
Yeah,
and they all have experience that will benefit. You know, the guys they're playing with. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't an easy decision at all.
Like you said, it all fell on what the situation for the formats are going to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you say, okay, well, if hypothetically we said, well, Dan Salmon's going to play singles, is there a chance then Danny Davis comes in to help Ross out with the pairs? Because they've obviously won a gold in the World Cup, and all these different questions come in. But like you said, if the way that it sits is so difficult, because it does put then like I said, different hypotheticals, different situations, things that you've got to kind of just try and find a way around. And
that's it. You just talk.
I don't think you can argue with the picks that have happened for the. I think the picks that have happened for the Commonwealth. Okay, women a bit of inexperience, but you can't argue they're not playing the best bowlers in Wales.
You know, we get behind anybody who's picked, and somebody's got to do that awful job of selecting. Yeah, because it's a hard job. People will always have different opinions, and they're entitled to them opinions. The team is picked. We wish them best, because this will go out before the Commonwealth Games, because that's in July.
End of July,
End of July. We do wish you all the best, the ones that go in, once that nomination has been ratified. Yeah. Are you going?
No, I'll be watching on TV.
No tickets?
No tickets.
I know.
And he didn't even get you any tickets either.
Do you know what we could do? If we can, we'll email BBC, see if we can get a watch party going. We'll watch it live on here.
Yeah.
Commentate through our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And we'll have it playing through our YouTube.
Yeah,
we'll have to speak to the BBC first.
Right, it's not on BBC, isn't it? TNT or
it's
something?
On TNT. Or
TNT, if you're listening, TNT,
Eurosport,
there's no chance.
So we'll have to email them properly.
Yeah, no, they're not going to watch it. Yeah, ask them on you. Anybody know anybody for TNT?
They do watch parties in esports, see?
Do they?
All the time. And they bring in millions of views.
We'll have to have a big barrel of beer if me and Steve are here. Huh?
I don't drink.
Don't you? No, I do.
Not since the incident. No, I don't get on that.
Vodka.
Yeah, she makes it.
And me vodka, yeah. We'll go on the vodkas. So, Anwen and Chris going up, are they?
Yes. Yeah. Again, it's not a what people tend to forget. It's not a Welsh Lawn Bowls.
It's a Bowls
representation. It's a
Welsh Commonwealth
Team
Games.
Wales, Commonwealth Games Wales representation.
In fact, I think one of your old friends from Golf's sisters going up, young Maddie.
Yeah.
Maddie Conley, who's going up and a weightlifter. So, we wish Maddie well, because we knew her when she was very small.
Oh, yeah.
Very small.
Oh, she can lift you over her head.
She could.
She was this tall and a gymnast.
Yeah. And now she's a weightlifter, and going really well. Fair play to her. Yeah, so we wish her well. And anybody who's going up the Commonwealth Games with Team Wales, let's get behind them.
Definitely.
I think we've come to. Have you got anything? Because you'll have hundreds. I could sit here and I could just carry on talking.
There is one more thing that I would like to touch upon, because I think we're starting to see it in the Welsh setup at the moment, and that's somehow managing to keep respected players within the foundations of development. These youngsters, obviously, you've got Amy with the under-18s, and now obviously Jazz saying she's coming back to help out with the under-25s.
Yeah.
How important is that moving forward for Welsh bowls to have, like you said, having those people who you grew up playing bowls with, okay, a couple of years older or established bowlers who are late 20s, early 30s, who people look up to, people aspire to be like, because obviously that's this generation's now Rob Wheels and John Price's is Ross, Amy. How important is that moving forward for Wales, just to keep that kind of within the path of those people moving in to that more of that coaching role, if you will, or helping role?
It's vital, because kids, youngsters, all the age groups really need some sort of coaching or mentoring or advice, and I'd probably look at those guys as more mentors than coaches, even though they get their badges. It doesn't matter, because a lot of it is what they've done and what they've achieved, and knowing the two you've mentioned are really good at getting that point over. Yeah. And the real youngsters don't know who they are. Yeah. But they know they're good. Yeah. Just because the way they can do it. But I think it's important, and at that sort of under 25 level as well, because I'm always quite keen to say. And Jamie, to be fair, with the academy now, it's the under 25s as well, is to get more players, senior players, and they're willing to do it. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
The senior players in the Welsh team men and women are more than happy to give their time and come down and help.
Yeah.
Because they've been there. They know what it's like. They know how difficult it is.
We were really lucky last year that Amy and Jazz come down to do a little workshop with our academy.
Yeah.
And obviously the two now that are helping in, but we know Ross is very open to doing it. I'm sure Dan would be, Carl I'm sure would be. You've got a good amount of people there that are willing to give back to Welsh Bowls, that don't necessarily need to be in those important roles, but like I said, in a mentor role that come to your development days, come to your internationals at under 25s, under 18s, and that's all they need to do. But they're there
because a lot of it it's not coaching, because you can bowl by that time. Yeah. It's about if they're playing a game, for example, they're playing an end, and I've seen Jamie and Ross doing it, and we've got a practice game now for the under 18s before they go against like a select under 25s, but we'll be on the greens with them and say, okay, why did you play that? Have you thought about doing this? Stopping it, because it's about, and that's the difference. I think it's not about teaching them how to bowl, it's about teaching them the game and the game management and stuff like that.
It goes back to what I said to you when I said it goes back. It's them under 18s, the girls, so we're playing the under 25 singles and playing yourself. You've made them feel comfortable, and you've built that rapport. Now, seeing them and having, so when you got your under 18s, you've got some who's under 25s or whoever's with them, or they've played against, and they all of a sudden so your under 18s are going to under 25s, could do the same role for under 18s, and then they're stepping on that role.
Well, and it's the same thing. Like a young girl playing against you will have more influence from you in that one game than they're gonna have from him in 3-4 years. Because they're gonna watch you play once and go, wow, I'd love to be like you when I'm older. They're not gonna say that to him ever.
Do you remember that indoor day we had, the under 16 day, and you went along and a young girl from Wales asked for a photograph?
Oh yeah,
with you.
I remember that.
Because they all the under 25s girls and boys come down in their kits, so they were there. And the father said, "Do you mind if you have a photo?" She said, "With me?" She wants. She loves this. She wants to be like you,
and that's good, isn't it? That's what you want.
And then obviously on the flip side of that, then is obviously you've got to, as an under 25s player, not just you, but a lot of them, men and women, have got a little bit of responsibility then to be a little bit more of that role model type, then, isn't it? Because obviously you look at, young boys start, then they're going to look up to under 25s, young girls start, they're going to look up to under 25s. Or the early years of the seat, they're not going to be looking, and as much as like people like Caroline Taylor or even Anwen Button are really good bowlers, your 12, 13-year-olds are not going to be looking up to them anymore. It's your age.
I think the important part for the older ones, the ones that are in the under 25s, is to realise, to look at the senior players and realise they can compete with them. The trial, the men's trial 2 weeks ago, we selected 3 trial teams, but then we created another one, which, to be fair, was Chris's idea, to get an under 25 team. There were a couple involved in the trial properly, but we had then an under 25s team made up from the team there, and boy were they competitive. They frightened a lot, but they now know, well, okay, they're 18, 17, 18, 15-year-olds with it. They know they can compete. They respect them. And they know that they're good players. They're not in awe of them. They're not frightened of them. And I think we need to do more and more of that.
Yeah, and I think the more you put those people on the cusp against the ones that are in the team, the more you develop those players on the cusp. But also then you start giving the people in the team a kick up the arse a little bit and think, well, I can't slow down. If I slow down a bit, I'm out.
And that's what's starting to happen. We're starting to build enough play. Our pyramid's always been too small. People at top can relax a little bit because it's not much coming through. Now, as that's getting bigger, the ones at the top have got to keep on their game, and the ones at the bottom want to get to the top.
And again, that's where the pathway, as part of the role of the pathway, is to keep that push going. So,
and I think like for the under 18s now that are coming through so almost like confidently into the under 25s, they are coming to the trial. They know that if I have good marking here, if I prove my place here, I'm set, I'm okay. And it's like going back to what you were saying earlier, the mechanics of it, at that point, if you're in the trial, you know the mechanics of bowls, you know the delivery, but what we can teach them is that little bit older, you know, the 23-year-olds, the 22-year-olds is going, right, well, when you're away and when you're internationals, you need to drink your water.
Yeah.
You need to find the shade. You need to sit down. You need to...
You know,
that's what your Ellie Davises and your Nancy Monettes and whoever's in them youngsters need.
And that's where Jazz and Amy being part of the under-25, I know it's indoors, is so brilliant because I'm going to look at Jazz, and only last year she was right where I was. She knows that, okay, we are a developing team. We're not quite there yet. In a few years, like those girls, like I said earlier, will come up and up. But I'll look at Jazz and she'll know it's all right. It's okay. It's maybe not going to plan or whatever.
And I think the beauty as well of having more, like, again, even if they not even looking in for a spot in the under 25s, but even still inviting them to trials, like I said, there's a few girls there with some solid potential that the people who are on the cusp and just getting in or are in that middle pack thinking now,
I gotta be better.
Wow.
I gotta,
like, if I'm not careful in 2 years' time, I could lose my spot to this person because they're only getting that.
And it's experience.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you know, we talk about one. I know the under 18 girls have been picked, and we had one in the team, and we had one. Chloe.
Oh, non-traveling reserve.
Yeah, Chloe Wilcox is new to bowl. Been bowling 2 years.
Yeah.
And a non-traveling reserve. You know, so
she's impressed a few times this year.
Yeah.
Already, to be fair.
and there's loads out there. You know, I know our Faith played Gwen.
Yes.
You know, the first half of the game, it was really good game she was in, and then
8-6.
then just a bit of experience set in. You could see Gwen setting move the mat up a little bit.
It kind of goes when your experienced players start doing this, and then your less experienced start to panic a bit, thinking, "Oh, I might win," and then the nerves kick in, and they just kind of.
Yeah.
But you know, so I think it's really healthy.
Yeah. Big time.
I think we could talk here for hours and hours, and we're going on, and people will turn off.
I have firing questions. Mate.
Oh, do you?
So
Go on. Let's end with some firing questions then.
So,
we haven't done firing questions for a while.
No, we have. We did it.
Well, we haven't for a while.
Well, we didn't up in Scotland, did we?
No.
No.
Anyway,
I'm trying to think back. We've done. Well, this is 37 now. So
37.
Plus
Is
the.
it? Oh my
Plus the youngsters.
well,
so
we've done Rising Stars. We've done 2 from Scotland. Ashley McKechnie, who's doing really well. Abby Harris, just been selected for the Scottish ladies. So we're picking them right. We did Ollie Price. Ollie just been picked for the men's.
We're over 40 episodes.
Yeah.
Of this.
We got Elijah coming on soon. Now we've got
I'm doing the
Yaz Hassan and Izzy Pym coming on end of the month as well.
Yes, that's true. Right, firing questions. If you haven't watched our episodes before, I'll talk you through. Firing questions are quick fire questions. 5 questions. You'll answer one then the other after each other. That's all you need to know. Who wants to go first with answering? Steve, you answer first.
Hospital pass.
And Liv, you can answer straight after then, okay? So question number 1 for you both. What is your go-to takeaway order?
Chinese.
Be specific for me.
Specific.
What have you got? What did you
Okay. Chicken balls. What?
I'd have said 68, 24, 19.
I was going to. That's a dad joke. You can't do that. Chicken balls, special fried rice, and barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce is so good. Right, Liv. Same question.
Like Greek food. Chloe and I love Greek food. We'll order
like
it.
Euro.
Yeah.
What meat? Lamb.
Yeah.
Mint sauce?
Oh, obviously.
Fair enough. Right, question number 2, back to you, Steve. Do you prefer your forehand or your backhand?
I don't have a preference. I genuinely don't have a preference. It was beaten out to me as a kid that you don't focus on one hand. You learn to play both sides. And I've never...
You can still learn to play both sides, but you can still have a favourite hand.
I genuinely haven't got a preference. Genuinely haven't. I know it's a
Come on, it's fighting questions.
Right,
Come on.
I never... Right, and this is your fault. I've never taught backhand and forehand. I don't know which... If you told me to play my backhand, you would have to point to me. I don't know.
When I was coaching it, it was...
So...
Which was the forehand? It's the one you hold your knife in.
Yeah, but...
It's not, it's a backhand.
Oh, fine. Yeah, here we are. No, so I'm like him. I don't mind either way, but I was never actually taught what the word was.
Question 3 for you, Steve. What is the best dessert?
Best dessert?
Yeah, this is not all bowls questions.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's
throw
thrown me a
some
bit.
spanners in
I was
there.
thinking, what can he ask? Best desserts? That's got to be a trifle, isn't it? Of any kind, really.
Liv?
Cheesecake.
I left that for you.
I thought Steve would have said sticky toffee pudding.
Oh, no.
Cheesecake or Steve? Right, question 4. What is the best bowls colour?
What, the colour of bowls?
Yes.
Red. Just plain red.
Really?
Yeah.
Liv?
My Reese's outdoor.
Not your bowls. What is just
no, like that is the best
favourite
colour. That's
the
is
best colour.
mine. Oh, they're beautiful. They're like white with red, blue, and like mint green speckles for them. Oh, they're lovely.
Okay. And then the last question for you both. One player in the bowls word you'd love to watch live in person. Could be someone you've already seen or someone you haven't seen across the world. Player you'd love to watch live.
I'd probably like to see a guy I mentioned earlier, Ellis Stanbury, playing in his prime back in, and that would have been in the 60s, early 70s. I never actually got to see him play at his prime. He was sort of semi-retired from that level. But just because of what I know he'd achieved in the game and what he taught me, I would like to see him play. I've been lucky to play with or against all the sort of top guys. Played with Robert, played with John, I played against Tatty and Foss. So I've played against all the sort of current greats. And but yes, so it's a strange one to go to the past and watch somebody
Good, I like it.
back then.
Liv?
Probably Aaron Shearer. Just to say, like, I have watched because it's a whole other world out there.
Well, you could have watched me and see I'm a bowler.
I thought you might have said that. You know, I thought she was going to say that.
Oh no, I would. Yeah.
No, it's too late.
No,
Don't
too late
change
now.
it.
You've not gone now.
Don't change it.
I would like to see you in your prime.
No,
when
the first answer was correct. The first answer was correct.
Yeah,
7-time Australian Open winner Aaron Shearer.
You'd have to go out to
Yeah.
Australia as well to see him. So yeah, I'll give you that one.
Oh yeah, sure.
No, he
Okay.
won't. He'd probably be up. He'd be up. No, he won't be. He won't picked.
No, he
He's
won't.
retired from internationals, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you both.
Thank
We could have sat here. I don't believe it's.
Oh, I could have sat here all day.
It's over an.
All night.
I think it might be the longest episode ever. It's over an hour and a half.
Switched off half hour ago.
Yeah, it's over an hour and a half.
Including the dogs, I
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'd say good luck up in Scotland, but you're not
I'll be
going.
there in spirit.
Yeah, but certainly good luck for you up in Scotland.
Thank you.
Yeah, and good luck and keep looking after them youngsters and them under 25s. Thank you all for listening, watching. Please subscribe, follow us. We're up to nearly 1.2 thousand on Facebook. We could do with you subscribing on YouTube, please.
Yeah, the more subscribers we get on YouTube, the more stuff we can do.
Good.
So,
'Cause
thank you all.
That's where we make our. Well, in the future, maybe.
Maybe
That's
at the
what's
moment
gonna
we've made
help us.
all of nothing because it was never set up to make money. It was set up for you and to.
But the more we get on
Expose balls.
YouTube, the more we can start to branch out and do more things that people are asking for.
Okay.
That's
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.